Hi, everybody.
Oh, look at my hair, Miss Mel. It's lovely.
It is lovely.
You are looking especially lovely. You are looking lovely, Miss Mel.
Thank you. You're so very kind. Hi, everybody. We're here tonight to read.
We are lucky to be here, Miss Mel.
We are lucky to be here. And we're going to be reading you one of our favorites and most popular stories called Lulu and Her Lavender Lion. So before we read, Mr. Chris, I just wanted to give a little history behind this story. It was written and revised in 2012. So some history behind where this story came from in our life.
Well, so first off is that my professional background, I'm a speech language pathologist, but really that means that some people that I work with, some kids I work with have articulation errors, and that really is something to do with their speech. And so they have to learn, Miss Mel, how to say certain sounds. And one of those sounds that sometimes people have trouble with is the L sound. Sometimes kids can make it like a W sound instead of a L sound. So as speech language pathologists, we help people learn the L sound by putting their tongue behind their teeth. And so I was doing that or had been doing that. And then while that was happening,
our daughter, who we, when she was little, called her Lulu. Called her Lulu.
Lulu.
And when we were calling her that, she also had a little imaginary friend that she had. And this little imaginary friend gave her such confidence. And so it really inspired us to match up that speech pathology in a fun way by using those L's and also our little Lulu.
So we took those two things and we put them together to create this story.
Right. So
the idea here, kids, if you're watching, is for you to practice the L sound a lot. Lot. How about we take a second right now, kids, if you're watching, to make the L sound. La.
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 And you could do Lou.
Lou.
But notice how your tongue goes behind your teeth.
La, la, la.
Right? No matter how you make the L sound, no matter what other sounds come before it or afterwards, your tongue is always there when you make the L sound.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Chris.
You bet.
You are such a love.
Well, I love doing it.
And are you going to leave while I read?
I am. I'm going to leave while I let you lead the way.
Fantastic. I'm going to...
Maybe afterwards we can tell people about lighting the way with words.
Fantastic. Okay. See you later.
Bye-bye. Have fun listening to the story.
Okay. So, I just have to get this set. Whoop. Okay. All righty. So, Lulu and Her Lavender Lion by Chris and Melissa Bouguet. Oops. Hold on. See? It's our very, very, very fancy. Lulu lingered at the entrance of the labyrinth. She felt Lavender Lion lumber up next to her as she instinctively dropped her lollipop to her side, offering him a lick. The lion immediately put her at ease as the landscape of lilies lining the wall of the labyrinth drew them in. They laughed as they caught sight of the first memory, a picture resting on an easel frame in clouds. Lulu looked at it longingly, remembering the first day she met him. The memory grabbed her, and she felt the breeze blow through her hair as she was suddenly lying all alone by the lagoon licking a limesicle. The lazy clouds lingered overhead in the air. She was lonely and longed for a friend with whom she could laugh. One of the clouds took shape of a lion with a large head, 4 lanky legs, and a long tail. Surrounding the head was a billowy mane made purple by the haze of the setting sun. Lulu lolled her head to the left to find a large lavender lion lying next to her on the beach. She immediately offered him a lick of her limesicle, and he lapped it up. No longer lonely, she felt the comfort she longed for as she heard, "Lulu, Lulu, like a lamb, when you need me, here I am." Leaving the first picture and heading deeper into the labyrinth, Lulu and her lavender lion came upon a little lake. Croaks of frogs echoed off the labyrinth walls that lined the shores of the lake. The frogs lounged on a path of lily pads, which made a line through the middle of the lake. "Let's go!" said Lulu, giving her lion a wink. Lollipop in hand, Lulu leapt from lily pad to lily pad, leaving Lavender Lion as the waves of the lake lapped at his paws. Looking back, Lulu waved her lion onward, urging him to follow. Lavender Lion leaned back on his hind legs, let out a roar, and launched himself into the lagoon, trying to land on a lily pad. Frogs scattered as Lavender Lion landed in the water with a loud ker-splash. Lulu lunged to grab Lavender Lion, eager to lend a helping hand, but leaned too far forward. Losing her balance, Lulu toppled into the less than listless lake. Memories swirled around her as she leered through the water. Images of not-so-long-ago swimming practice leached into view. She was tired and longed to be done, but she still had 11 laps to go. Her muscles had ached, and she had longed to leave the pool, but she knew her coach was watching. Just when she felt like she couldn't make another stroke, she saw Lavender Lion swimming along beside her. Re-energized, Lulu finished the final laps, only to find Lavender Lion sitting on the edge of the pool, listening to the cheers of her teammates. As the images dissolved in the lake, Lulu sprang to the surface. Popping up out of the water, Lulu looked at Lavender Lion. Suddenly, they both began to laugh. Loads of laughter bounced off the labyrinth walls. They laid in the water, laughing until both their stomachs hurt. When the laughter subsided, Lulu launched onto her lion's neck, and he limberly swam to the other side as she heard, "Lulu, Lulu, like a lamb, when you need me, here I am." At last, reaching the other side of the lake, the labyrinth turned left. There, located at the end of a long corridor, stood a sturdy ladder laid upon the labyrinth wall. Lulu stuck her lollipop between her lip and leapt on to the first rung. A musical note exploded in her ears as her hand encircled the rung. Progressing up the ladder, each rung played a note. The higher she climbed, the more the notes took shape, turning into an old familiar song. Lulu heard children singing as the lyrics came flooding back to her. Then she wasn't climbing the ladder anymore. Looking down, Lulu saw that the rungs below her feet were now limbs of the most perfect climbing tree. "Lulu, Lulu, you're too scared, aren't you? You can't do it, you will fall. You're just a baby after all," was the rhyme that looped in her ear. All the other neighborhood kids had done it, but not her. Knowing if she didn't try, she would lament it for the rest of her life, she decided to climb the tallest tree in town. Even though those kids weren't very nice and their lyrics filled her with a feeling of uncertainty, Lulu had wanted to try. Fear lingered in her lungs as she took a deep breath. Lulu started to climb the tree. Slowly at first, and then she gathered momentum. Limb after limb, the climbing became more logical. Foot, hand, foot. She climbed ever upward until she reached the top. She remembered feeling light as a feather, like she had just landed on a lunar surface. Then she looked down, all the way down, and froze. She was really high up, and it was a long way to the lawn below. Lulu blinked and saw Lavender Lion lazily licking his paws resting on a limb of the tree with a large grin upon his face. Smiling back, Lulu felt her chest rise as she took another deep breath. Latching onto each branch tightly, she made her way down as logically as she had made her way up to the top. At the bottom, Lavender Lion laid on the lawn, swishing his tail over the loose blades of grass. As limbs turned back into rungs of a ladder, Lulu landed on the other side of the wall, along with Lavender Lion. Lulu felt her chest swell with pride as she heard, "Lulu, Lulu, like a lamb. When you need me, here I am." Looking down the hallway, Lulu saw that the labyrinth was now lined with grass, straws, and little twigs, each tangled together to form a very large nest. As Lulu stopped to admire its loveliness, she heard the familiar sound of a lark flying high above in the distance. The silhouette of the bird in the sky brought her right back to the day when she made the discovery. She found a lark building a nest under a lilac bush in a tuft of grass in the backyard. Lulu looked inside and found a cluster of eggs. Day after day she leered into the nest, longing for the eggs to reveal what had grown inside. Then, one day, she heard the wonderful sound of sweet little chirps. She listened each day after school, laying by the nest, and loved to watch Mamma Lark bring luscious worms to her babies. Soon she began to think of them as her pets. She named them Lucas, Linus, Leo, and Lubert, and longed to see the little larks each day. Then, one Saturday after lunch, Lulu went to look in on her darlings, only to find the nest empty. Lulu looked around frantically, hoping they weren't lost, when she heard chirping from a nearby tree. Mama's lark babies had left their home and were perched on the tail of Lavender Lion, who laid on the lowest limb of the tree. His tail dangled down, swaying to and fro, gently rocking the four little larks. Suddenly, in a flurry of feathers, each one lifted off, taking flight. Off they flew to find their own luck in life. Like a landslide, Lulu's eyes welled up, filling with tears, as she watched each little bird fly away into the sky. Lavender Lion appeared beside her, rubbed his neck along her legs, and watched as the birds disappeared into the clouds. Lulu closed her eyes, wiped the tears away, and opened them to reveal she was back in the labyrinth. Lavender Lion licked a tear as she heard, "Lulu, Lulu, like a lamb. When you need me, here I am." Lulu blinked and pointed down the path. Lavender Lion launched himself forward as they began a game of follow the leader. They ran through the labyrinth, looping around trees and loping over roots until they neared the center. Rounding a turn, they came upon a large open field spotted with giant rocks. There was an Sorry, guys. There was an outcropping of boulders surrounding a cave lit with purple light. Lulu felt her heart lurch as she looked at Lavender Lion's lair. Her lips trembled, not wanting to feel the loss, but when Lavender Lion stepped up beside her, she felt her confidence lift. Lavender Lion, like a lantern growing bright, keeping her ego full of luster, lumbered toward his lair. She looked on as he closed in on the entrance. She would leave him here at his lair. She knew she would long for him for a while, a great long while, but she also knew that, thanks to him and his strength, she was ready. When he reached his lair, she ran to him, throwing her arms around his neck. She squeezed him one last time and then pulled away, leaving a lasting imprint on his fur. Lavender Lion looked at her and smiled as Lulu pulled out what was left of her lollipop. She offered it to Lavender Lion. He lapped at what was left, and Lulu laughed as his tongue curled around it. She kissed his nose and smiled to assure him one final time that she was ready. Lavender Lion nodded, lowered his head, and returned the loving gesture. As he crawled into his cave and she turned to leave, she heard his lyrical voice sing, "Lulu, Lulu, look inside. Like a lion, you found your pride." We hope you enjoyed the story. I want to say hi to Marcia and Wendy and Beth and Alyssa. Hi, guys. I see that you're watching. Also, I just wanted to let you know that we are bringing back another one of our favorites that we've done over the years. It's called Lighting the Way with Words. Our daughter, Maggie, is actually taking that on for Team Nightlight. And every week we're going to have a new word. We started at A with accelerate last week, and it has a picture of one of us or one of you, if you send us pictures of a word of the word of the week, doing that, what we had posted. So last week was accelerate. We had a picture of Maggie going down a hill on a skateboard. And then there's a sentence at the bottom that includes the word accelerate in it, so you can see it in context. So the other thing that we're asking is that we wanted to celebrate graduations just like everybody else is offering to celebrate graduations, but we do bright birthday wishes, but we thought we would do glowing graduation wishes for the rest of the month of May and into June, because so many people are doing these huge milestones. So send us your pre-K, your preschool, your kindergarten, your 5th grade, your 8th grader, your 12th grader, your bachelor's degree, your master's, your second master's, your doctorate, heck, even your black belt. Send it to us. Whatever you graduated from, we're all so proud of you. And so we wanted to post that on the blog. And that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. You're awesome. Stay well, stay safe. And our next episode is going to be launched by tomorrow. We'll see you later.